They said I smelled like pig manure. My cousin whispered it loud enough for everyone in the room to hear. A few people laughed. The sound echoed off the tall marble walls of my grandfather's mansion. But I didn't flinch. I just sat there, my boots still muddy from the morning chores, my flannel shirt holding the faint smell of hay and pigs. They all thought I didn't belong. To them, I was the poor farm girl, the girl who had dirt under her nails instead of diamonds on her fingers. The girl who fed pigs instead of flying first class to Europe. But what they didn't know was that Grandpa had seen everything. He saw their fake smiles, their cruel jokes, their silence when I entered the room. What they really didn't expect, what no one expected, was that I would be the one inheriting everything. When the lawyer read my name, the room went dead silent. Nobody moved, nobody smiled. It was like all the air had been sucked out of the room. Suddenly, they were the ones who didn't belong. I sat a little straighter, not out of pride, but because I could finally breathe. The fancy leather chairs creaked as they shifted around me. No one made eye contact, not even Alexis, the cousin who started it all. I had arrived 10 minutes early, not to impress anyone. It's just habit. On the farm, if you're on time, you're already late. I didn't have time to change clothes. Grandpa's pigs don't feed themselves. And I wasn't going to miss my chores just because the family remembered I existed. As I walked into the mansion, the smell of artificial flowers hit me too sweet, too strong. It clashed hard with the natural scent of the barn that clung to my clothes. I could feel them judging me from the moment I walked through those doors. Alexis wrinkled her nose and whispered to her fiance she could have at least showered. He laughed. Maybe she did in pig slop. I said nothing. The table was long and fancy, set like a holiday feast. Polished silverware, crystal glasses, and folded napkins no one would touch. But instead of turkey or ham, the centerpiece was a dark wooden box, Grandpa's will. The air was heavy with silence. Uncle Todd wore a shiny suit, probably brand new for this day. Aunt Karen's diamond earrings sparkled every time she moved her head. She wanted to be seen by the camera in the corner of the room. Yes, there was a camera crew. Grandpa always followed the rules, but this felt more than legal. It felt like a stage. I sat near the end of the table, not the very end, but close enough to feel like I wasn't really supposed to be there. The chair under me wobbled. No one offered to fix it. No one cared. Beside me, a younger cousin whispered, "Does she even own real shoes?" I kept my hands folded in my lap. My face felt warm, embarrassed, angry, maybe both. But I had learned something important on the farm. When a storm comes, you don't run. You stand still, let it pass. The double doors opened again. Everyone turned to look. Mr. Gallows, Grandpa's lawyer, walked in. He was tall, thin, and quiet. His hair was all white, and he moved slowly like he was made of stone. He placed his briefcase on the table, opened it, and looked around. "Let's begin," he said. And just like that, the game started. I wasn't supposed to be a player, but I was already on the board. Mr. Gallows opened the will like it was a treasure map. He spoke clearly, his voice deep and slow. Every word felt heavy, like it carried more than just money. It carried meaning, power, and judgment. "To my son, Todd Thompson," he began, "I leave the lakefront cabin in Vermont, the Mercedes collection, and the wine cellar contents." Uncle Todd smiled like he just won the lottery. He straightened his tie and leaned back in his chair, proud and satisfied. Aunt Karen leaned close and whispered something in his ear. He nodded, still smiling. I looked down at my boots. "To Alexis Marshall, my granddaughter," Mr. Gallows continued, "I bequeath the Paris flat and the personal jewelry vault, including the blue sapphire brooch that once belonged to my late wife." Alexis gasped. "The brooch? Oh my God!" She looked like she might cry, but not from love, more like excitement. That brooch had been in our family for generations. I remembered Grandpa showing it to me once when I was little. He held it up to the sunlight and said, "Look how it dances." He never showed it to her, but no one else knew that. They kept reading the will like it was a shopping list. Boats, stocks, antiques, apartments in New York and condos in Florida. Each name called was like a spotlight. "You matter. You're important. You're special." But my name didn't come. Not once. My stomach tightened. The room felt smaller. Someone laughed quietly. Then Derek, one of the older cousins, leaned back and said, "Maybe she gets the manure pile. Seems fitting." More laughter. Mr. Gallows didn't even blink. He just turned another page. I kept my hands folded and my eyes down. I didn't speak. I didn't move. I knew better. You see, I wasn't surprised. I had lived my whole life knowing how they saw me. I was the girl with dirt on her jeans and hay in her hair, the one who stayed behind while they traveled the world, the one who wore hand-me-downs and worked 14-hour days during summer break, the one who didn't belong in their world of perfumes and pearls. But here's what they didn't know. I never missed Grandpa's birthday. Not once. When Aunt Karen's dog got sick and she couldn't drive, I dropped everything and drove 4 hours to the vet with her. When Grandma passed away, I was the one who helped dress her for the funeral. I cleaned her hands myself, hands that had been in the garden just days before, because I knew she would have hated to be remembered with dirt under her fingernails. No one thanked me, no one even noticed. But Grandpa did. They didn't see the man behind the money, they only saw the bank account. I saw the one who brought me peanut brittle when I was fixing the chicken coop, the one who sat on the porch with me in silence, just listening to the wind. The one who told me stories about storms and people, how both can teach you things, if you're willing to stand still and watch. That's why when Mr. Gallows paused, I knew something was coming. But they didn't, and that made all the difference. Mr. Gallows cleared his throat. The room grew quiet again, like everyone could feel something was about to change. He looked down at the will, then looked up, right at me. To my granddaughter, he said, the one who fed the pigs, and never forgot my birthday. People started shifting in their seats. My heart stopped. To the one who painted flowers on the barn and never once asked for anything in return. He paused, letting his words sink in. I leave the Hastings estate. All of it. Silence. Not just silence. Shock. No one breathed. No one moved. I heard someone drop a fork onto a plate. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Mr. Gallows continued. The house, the land, the business, the bank accounts, all assets not listed before, belonged to her. He didn't say my name yet. He didn't have to. Everyone knew who he meant. Uncle Todd leaned forward. What? His voice cracked. Aunt Karen's eyes were wide. There must be a mistake. Mr. Gallows shook his head. No mistake. Alexis gasped like she'd just been punched. But she smells like pigs. I wanted to laugh, but I didn't. Instead, I took a deep breath. The scent of fake gardenias was still in the air, but underneath it, I could smell the farm, my real home. Mr. Gallows looked down at the final page. His voice grew softer. My granddaughter, he said, finally saying my name out loud. Emily Rose Hastings has shown more love, more loyalty, and more understanding of what it means to be family than anyone else in this room. And just like that, it was done. The will was read. The room was quiet. No one spoke. The family, so proud just minutes ago, now looked like children who had lost their favorite toy. They thought I would get nothing. They thought I didn't matter. But Grandpa had seen everything. And what they didn't know was that the walls had eyes. Nobody said anything. They just stared at me like I was a stranger. Uncle Todd's mouth opened, but no words came out. Aunt Karen held her napkin tight in her lap, twisting it like she wanted to scream, but didn't know how. Alexis blinked fast, like maybe if she blinked enough times, the words would change. But they didn't. The will had been read, and I was the one Grandpa chose. Mr. Gallows gently closed the folder and picked up his briefcase. There's one more thing, he said. Everyone turned to look at him. I've been asked, he continued, to play a video. He pressed a small remote. A screen rolled down from the ceiling, smooth and silent. A projector hummed to life, and then Grandpa appeared on the screen. He was sitting in his favorite chair, wearing his old brown cardigan. His silver hair was neat, his hands were folded, and his eyes, sharp and clear, looked right into the camera. Hello, family, he said. Aunt Karen's hand flew to her mouth. Grandpa continued, If you're watching this, I'm probably gone. But don't worry, I didn't leave angry, just honest. He smiled gently, but there was something serious behind it. I know what you all think, that I went soft, that I lost my edge, but I didn't. I just got quiet. And when people get quiet, they start seeing things, real things. The screen cut to security footage, actual video clips. First Alexis, after Thanksgiving, laughing in the hallway. Why does she even show up? She's like a walking barn. Then Aunt Karen sipping wine. Honestly, if Emily had any sense, she'd stay where she belongs. That farm is her level. Uncle Todd pacing in the study. Dad better not leave her a penny. She's not made for this life. Clip after clip. Words behind my back. Smirks. Eye rolls. Jokes that weren't funny. The room was frozen. No one looked at me. No one looked at the screen. But I did. I watched it all. Every word. Every whisper. Not because it hurt me. Not anymore. I'd heard worse. I watched because it reminded me of what Grandpa once said. When people think no one's watching, they tell the truth. The screen faded back to Grandpa. He looked tired, but proud. Emily, he said softly, if you're hearing this, you've earned every single thing I left you. Not because you wore nice clothes, not because you knew how to smile for the cameras, but because you showed up when no one else did. You stayed when others ran. He paused. You didn't belong in their world, but you always belonged in mine. The screen went black. Mr. Gallo stood. This concludes the reading of the will. And with that, he left. No one followed. Everyone stayed in their seats. No one knew what to say. No one even looked at me. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the floor. The sound made a few of them jump. I nodded politely toward Mr. Gallo's empty chair, then toward the door. Still, no one spoke. Not Uncle Todd, not Alexis, not even Aunt Karen, who always had something to say. I walked out without a word. My boots echoed down the marble hallway, step by step. The same boots they laughed at, the ones still dusted with the morning's mud. Outside, the wind felt cold, but it was clean, real. It reminded me of home. The estate behind me looked huge and perfect, like something from a movie, but it wasn't home. Not yet. Maybe never. I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to hurt anyone. I just wanted Grandpa to know I loved him, and he did. That was enough. But now, I had everything. The land, the house, the money, and I had a choice to make. Back at the farm, the pigs were probably finishing their feed. The chickens were chasing each other in the dirt. The sun was hitting the fields just right. I missed it already. I reached into my flannel pocket and pulled out a folded napkin, yellowed and soft from age. Let them talk. Their noise is a gift. It tells you who they really are. Grandpa's words, still true. I looked up at the mansion. This place was now mine, but it didn't feel like it. Not yet. Maybe not ever, but I knew what Grandpa wanted. He didn't leave it to me for the money. He left it to me because he trusted I'd take care of it. Not just the house, not just the land, but the truth. The truth about what matters, about loyalty, kindness, hard work, and love. Things this family had forgotten. I didn't move into the big house right away. For a few weeks, I kept waking up at the farm. Same time, same chores. Feeding the pigs, washing the stalls, collecting eggs. The work didn't care about money. It still needed to be done. But little by little, I began to walk the estate. I explored the rooms, opened windows that hadn't been touched in years, and let the fresh air in. It still didn't feel like mine. Not until I found Grandpa's boots by the back door. Worn out, muddy, just like mine. That's when it hit me. He didn't want me to become one of them. He wanted me to stay me. He trusted me with this place. Not to make it fancier, not to make it perfect, but to make it real again. So I made a plan. I kept the farm running, hired 2 local families to help, paid them well. No one had to work sunrise to sunset like I used to, unless they wanted to. I opened parts of the estate to the public. Gardens, walking trails, even the old barn. Kids came on weekends to pet the animals and learn about farm life. People smiled here again. Not for cameras, for real. The rest of the family, most of them left quietly. Uncle Todd tried to challenge the will, but the cameras didn't lie. The lawyer handled it. I didn't have to say a word. Alexis sent a message once. Just one. I guess we never really knew you. I'm sorry. I never replied. Not out of anger, out of peace. Some things don't need answers. Grandpa's office is now a reading room. His old chair still sits by the window, facing the pasture. I sit in it sometimes, just to feel close to him. And when the wind shifts, I swear I can still hear him say, "You showed up. You stayed. That's what matters." People call me a lot of things now. Owner, boss, lady of the estate, but I still wear the same flannel, still keep a napkin in my glove box, still smell like the earth after rain, and I wouldn't change a thing, because this legacy, it isn't about money, it's about showing up when no one else does, about standing still through the storm, about being the one person who stays true, even when no one's watching.